This is gonna be the easiest dinner that you've ever made in your life. We are going to start with making some rice. So we're gonna do some brown rice on the MP5. So what we'll do is just follow me over here. We have some rice over here. We have use the rice insert, use 2 cups of rice, and then use 1 cup. We're gonna use 1 cup of filtered water at the bottom. Okay? And then what we do is we're gonna rinse the rice right here. And this is brown basmati rice. So what you want to do is just rinse it a little bit, maybe once or twice. With the brown rice, you want to use about 1.5 cup of water or 2 cups of water. So put the insert on the inside. And then what I do is I have 2 cups of water all together. But what you want to do is not use all of it. So check it out and use probably about, let's see, 2 cups to 2 cups of rice. I'd rather do about 2.5 cups. So 2 cups of rice and 2.5 cups of water. Usually about 3/4 of an inch. And now what we do is we're going to bring it over here. What we do right here is you start at the temperature, you go temperature, and then you go with the up arrow all the way to 350. When the vapor valve clicks, we're gonna turn it down to low. Once you turn it down to low, for me is about 150 to 170. So this is 350 right here. Okay, wait till the vapor valve clicks. Once the vapor valve click, we want to turn it down to about 170 to 150 to 175. So that's for the rice. So we're gonna let it go and we're gonna wait until it clicks. We're going to focus on making some frozen to finished fish. So I like to use some wild Alaskan salmon. So for this one, you need a cold pan. You don't need to preheat it. This is organic wild fish. And let me grab, so take the steak, and then we go here, meat side down. So put the meat side down there. Let the skin be at the top. So take the fish, cover it all up. This is basically we're just going to make it a little bit crispy. Cover it, turn it to medium. So that's if you want to do something really easy, frozen to finish. Now what we'll do is, I'm going to show you as well how to use big fish, fresh. So this is fresh. This is wild New Zealand salmon. So if you want to do baked fish, all you have to do is rinse it, put it in the cold pan again. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add a little bit of rosemary in there. Do a little bit of sea salt. Right in here, even though the fish is being in the ocean, they still need a little bit of salt. So a little bit of sea salt. Cover it. This is the 8.6 skillet. Take the handles off so they don't get heated up. Turn it to medium. When the vapor valve click, we turn it down to low and cook it for about 5-10 minutes. So if you hear now, follow me over here, you can hear the vapor valve click. Turn it down to 150 as I said, or 170, and it'll actually stop. So if you hold the finger right there, it'll actually go faster. So at the meantime right now, so just let it stop on its own. Now we're gonna do the mushrooms. So just put some creamy mushrooms in there, a few sprigs of rosemary. Take approximately about 1/2 cup of any red wine. So remember that when you're cooking with wine at a high temperature, it will actually, the alcohol will evaporate. So no worries, you don't need a designated driver for this one. So, and what I like to do is I like to add some herbs, a little bit of thyme. And then since I'm going to serve this with the steak, I'm gonna put a little bit of steak spice, some black pepper. Make sure that if it gets dirty in here, just wipe it off so we can actually create a very nice seal in there. And perhaps what we could do is just add a little bit of tarragon to make it a little bit sweeter. And that's it. Maybe a little pinch of salt in there. Cover it. This is very simple. Make sure that there's nothing around the edge so we can create a nice seal. Turn it to medium. Vapor valve click. We turn it down to low. It's very simple. Now while that is cooking, so we're going to do the steak. So for the steak, we're going to add some spices, okay? Number one, let's use a little bit of grapeseed oil. So actually I'm going to use a marinade, so come over here and I'll show you how to make the marinade at once. So we have some grapeseed oil, so that way it's easier. This is for the marinade for the steak. Okay, let's put some chipotle flakes to make it a little bit spicy. Some pepper. And I like to add a little bit of paprika perhaps. This is our marinade for today, and garlic. And a little bit of sage, maybe about a pinch of sage. So grab a little fork, and then of course we're still going to add some fresh garlic. Garlic is really good for you. So we're going to use another 1 comb, and just add a few flakes, so that way when you are cooking it with the steak, it would actually become kind of like roasted garlic. So we're going to do just one steak. Just take the steak in there, rub it, give it a nice little massage. And meanwhile, okay, preheat the skillet. Probably we want to preheat the back skillet. That one right there. And so while that is heating up, we're going to preheat another skillet. And we're going to be doing, actually before we do that, well that's actually, we can preheat everything all at once. I'm going to show you how to do some waterless or water-free broccoli. And then we're going to make like a soup style. So what we do is we already have the broccoli already washed here with some asparagus tips. So take the broccoli and then you rinse it inside the pan. So what I like to do is take a little bit of water, because we're going to do like water free, and then take the excess of water and just leave maybe a little bit, especially at the beginning because you're just getting used to your cookware, and make sure that the food is 3/4 to full, not too full. So we're going to use our induction stove here. What you need to do with the induction stove is very simple. It will not work unless it's on. So if you notice over here, if I take the pan off and I try to turn it on, it will not go on. So in order for the stove to work, I have to have the pan on. So what we'll do is we're going to turn it on, we're going to go to heating, and with the minus and plus, we're going to turn it up to medium, which in this case will be about 380. Now listen to this part over here. See how quickly this is actually happening right now. Is the valve is clicking. Now we need to do, this is our baked fish, we're going to turn it down to low. If you notice that the valve continues to click, put your finger over here, put the handle on, turn it back, put it away a little bit off the burner, so the valve will stop clicking and it'll go into a semi-vacuum. Once it goes into a semi-vacuum, you don't have to worry about it. So take the handle off, leave it to the side, and that will stop clicking in a moment. Meanwhile, we're preheating this because we're making the steak. This is already preheated. So how do I know? Because when I do the water test, the water beads around. So what you do is take the steak and sear it. Keep the temperature at medium. So normally I like to put the lid on and half close it, so that way you don't have too much smoke going on in the house, especially if you don't have really good ventilation.